Jenny with you till 2 o'clock today. Now we have Irish rock and roll royalty on the phone, Jenny Green. Please give it up from Glen from the script. Glen, that's your intro for you to scream.
Yeah, what a band. What a drummer. I wish they'd play in time. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever done an intro to a drummer who didn't come in on time, Jenny.
I know, it's a little bit worrying.
I know.
So anyway, Glen,
the funny thing was when I went to do the phone, they were like, God, you're bang on time, so I can only be on time once. I have to go off time then the second one.
Listen to the click track. It won't put you wrong.
That's right. The click, the anchor point.
Right, tell us, whereabouts are you?
I'm sitting on tour bus outside a venue in Stockholm. We're playing here tonight. We're on the European leg of our tour, and we've just been all over the place. It's mad. We were in Oslo the night before. We did 2 gigs in the Amsterdam Ziggo, which is 17,000 a night, which was kind of crazy. You know, it was like playing London again. It was just mad to be in Holland doing gigs that big. And so we're here in Sweden, Stockholm. I think tonight's about 8,000. I could be wrong. I kind of give up trying to figure out how many. I just walk in and you hear the crowd and you look around. You kind of go, I reckon that's about 8,000. And we take bets then on whether you're right or wrong.
You should
also kind of meet. Go ahead.
Keep a close count on that though, Glen, when the tickets are being priced and added up together, you know.
I know.
8,000 or 20,000 is a difference, you know.
I know. You want a clicker. You want to be sitting there on the drum kit counting all the heads in the audience going, listen, what's the story on the bread here, man? You told me you said there was only 5,000 here. That looks like 10. You know what I mean?
There's a piece for him and a piece for him, and then it comes to me, and then you got to do that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
no.
Congratulations on the album so far. It's gone so well. Also, big congratulations for getting the Choice Music Prize for Song of the Year for Superhero. You must be chuffed, are you?
We were very shocked. I mean, to be honest, we did not think we were going to get that. I mean, with the other songs that were in there, we just thought, no, it was lovely to be nominated. We thought, but there's no way we're going to win against either. You know, there was 1 or 2 songs we thought were going to get it, and then we got it. So, again, you know, we're just really shocked and stunned, and so grateful to our fans and everybody else that's out there. It's just an honour to be, you know, to have a song like that to do so well in Ireland and to be recognised like that in your home country. I mean, that really is. It always tastes better when it's from in Ireland and it happens in Ireland. You know, stuff happens around the world, but when you're in Ireland and it's actually given to you, it means it's just a little bit more when it's on your home turf, you know?
Absolutely. And then when you're on tour like you are, guys, at the moment, and you're around Europe and you've probably heading across Asia and Australia, or maybe you've been there already, but at the bottom of the tour, when you're looking at the dates, whether it be on a bit of merchandise t-shirt or in your little tour book, and you see Croke Park, that's the one you're kind of building up to because it's your hometown. How are you guys feeling now? Because it's getting closer by the day.
We're just so excited. I mean, we're really in a good place now, as you know, in terms of musically speaking, because we've toured now the past month and a half, whatever. Like musically, we're sharp, and we kind of know now what to do. I mean, we've done things on this tour that we've never done before. We go into the audience, we B stage. We've never done any of that. Better light and rig. We really up the ante, and we just feel now that we're ready to go into Croke Park and put a show on. We're just trying to figure out other things that we can add to it. So, whereas the idea of it last year was really daunting and quite terrifying, now it feels a real possibility now that we can actually get in there and pull off a great show because of the show that we're doing now and the things that we're doing, and people that have come to see us are saying, wow, man, you guys have stepped it up a gear. Just thought it couldn't go any better. We're always on our Twitter looking at what our fans are saying. They're like, it's a real show. You just come into the audience. There's moments in there where you really grab everybody. So yeah, we can't wait. Honestly, even this morning I woke up and I was thinking about Croke Park. I thought, well, I'm loving doing this tour we're doing and playing these venues and doing Europe and getting to go to Australia and Asia where we're going to next. Really is for us the cream of the cake is going to be Croke Park, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for a show like that as well, obviously it's the same structure as in Setlist, I would imagine, and stuff, but then when you go to Croker, in terms of the size of the scale of the staging and stuff, it just goes, it just multiplies by 10 because you have to fit it into a stadium.
I know, that's the thing, and we're already trying to conceptualise a couple of surprises, and we're talking to other visual guys and production guys about what can we do to, you know, make something unique happen on the day, and we've got some ideas and a few things up our sleeves that we're going to throw around the table, but honestly, it's going to be great, because look, I think if you're playing Croke Park and just the fact that we're an Irish band and we're in Ireland, I think we could go out there with our pants down and play music and everyone's going to love it, you know what I'm saying? Well, not literally the pants down, maybe the trousers down.
I'm sure that will go down well.
There's a few people who I don't think would mind. And you know what, when you're talking about little surprises, I don't suppose any of those surprises might include a Kanye West hologram, would they, Glen? No?
You won't believe I actually brought that up. I said, what about getting a hologram? We'll do something crazy to that. No, I don't think we'll do that. I mean, it's not a bad idea, though. I mean, there's loads of people I'd love to see perform again. Top of the list would have to be Elvis, of course, but I mean, I don't think we get permission to bring Elvis on stage at Croke Park. I don't think that would work, but no, it'd be something really cool. I think something that no one will expect. We'll try and do something really unique, you know, and maybe give back a bit, you know, instead of we're a band that are trying to get amongst the people and give back. So something around those lines, if you get me. And I don't want to give anything away, but
absolutely. What's next, Glen, after this? I mean, your album, No Sound Without Silence, obviously did really well again. That's your fourth album, isn't it? And then
fourth album.
You're on a tour. You're on a big tour at the minute, which kind of, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than playing somewhere like Croke Park. And I don't necessarily mean as in what's next, as in back in the studio, but in terms of what you want to achieve. Is it stadiums around the world? What is it?
I think I think that's what we always dreamt of when we started. We thought, well, how big can we get this to go? I think there's so much more growth for us, even especially in Europe and things like that. There's still so many more areas for us to grow in. We get, every time we play in a place, when we come back and play there, it goes bigger. So we're still growing. And until, I think, like what you're saying, until we get to play the biggest places in the world, in every country, I don't think we'll feel like we've actually really made it. I mean, I think we're definitely on the way. But people say to me, well, man, you've made it, and this, and genuinely 100% don't feel like I've fully made it yet. I feel like I'm definitely heading towards where I wanted to go, but I think I'm still, you know, it's on a bit of an apprenticeship towards that. I'm not joking, I really mean that. There's still so much more to learn, and even on this tour, we have to do things we've never done before, and that felt like first day, you know, all over again as a musician. It was like, oh man, I'm dubious about this, and I had to kind of go through another learning curve with that. So I think definitely until we go as big as we can, we'll keep plugging away and just keep doing. But there's nothing like playing on stage. The hard part is the travelling. If I could take that out of it, then I'd be perfect. Just be away from home, be away from your house, family, and living in the bus and out of your suitcase. But I mean, I get to play music every night. I get to go on stage and perform and do something that, you know, I'm pretty good at, and I could be better at it, and I'm trying to get better as I go along. But you know, we get to do what we love, and we get to go on stage and go into a room where people have actually travelled and come some distances to actually pay attention and watch you play. Where years ago, when I was playing in some covers bands and all, people would just be sitting there drinking. They weren't even looking up at the stage. So, you know, now they're looking. So it's a big improvement from where I was.
Keep that ambition, that hunger, absolutely. You have kids as well, Glen, haven't you?
I have one child, yeah, I have a little boy. So well, he's not a little boy anymore, he's 15, he's a little man.
So is he tapping you up now for a few quid? He's like, Dad, hand it over.
Listen, that'll always be the deal, you know. I think that's kids in general, but sure, he's doing nothing that I didn't do when I was a kid, you know.
Love it. I have to ask you, Glen, as well, I did see recently that you had said that you would at some point like to get into acting. Is that still something that you have in your mind?
I would love to do it, but I know so little about it. I've done a lot of classes in New York, and I've done an intensive out in LA, and talk about humility. I mean, it's just such another world, and it's so vast and deep, and I never knew there was so much in it. I have such respect for the craft of what that is, and honestly, in an ideal world, I'd go somewhere and I'd try and do a degree for 3 years or something. I'm fascinated by it. I just got the bug. I was in New York and I was in my hotel room. I had a lot of time in my hands, and I thought, you know what, I want to do something different today. I jumped in the cab and I befriended this teacher, and she brought me into her class and threw me into the hot seat and had me do lots of repetition exercises with all the pupils in the class. And I just was taken by it. I just went, wow.
What type of movie was that, Glen?
It's called the Meisner Technique.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, one of my idols is Christopher Walken, and it's a style that he studied. So I found a teacher that basically was a pupil of the original guy.
That's amazing.
Sanford Meisner is his name. So she's like one down from him. So basically I went to her, and she just literally threw me in the deep end. And then I went to her friend in LA. That's what I love about America. They embrace your enthusiasm. You go into a room, you go, I want to try this. They go, yeah, come on in, give it a go. And I flew from New York to LA, and on the way there, they organised an actress who I'd never met before to come and pick me up at the hotel in a Mini Cooper. She drove me out to the valley. I went into a little studio with the teacher there. We did a scene, and then she got the actress to wait outside, and then she emotionally prepared me, which was like a bloody psychiatrist session. I mean, it literally, it was unbelievable. And then got me to do the scene again, and honestly, I was just like, I couldn't believe it, how amazing the whole thing is. And then from that, I did that 2-week intensive in Los Angeles, which was, oh my God, talk about frightening. And the first day you arrive, there's 14 actors in the class, and they go, okay, here's the scene, you're all going to go outside, you've got 20 minutes, you're going to prepare, and you're all going to come in and go on camera one by one. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, go. And I've never done this before, so I was like, well, what am I doing here? I want to go home. But I did it. I just said, what the hell? Do it. That's living for me. Doing things you're afraid of, embracing them, you know?
Absolutely.
Someone gave me a great thing, a great saying for fear. It's either, you know, it's either F everything and run. I didn't say the F word, but you can fill that in. Or it's face everything and recover. I like that, you know? So, I just try and chase after things that challenge me, you know. I think that's where the growth is. It's going into a room and getting uncomfortable and trying to stretch yourself as a person. So for me, it kind of helps as well that I suppose I do what I do in the band, because we go on stage in front of so many people. So take some of the fear out of it. But when you're standing there and you don't have a drum kit or a guitar in your hand and it's just you, it's just, I'll tell you, it's a whole other ball game. But I really got excited by that. So yeah, I really am fascinated by it. But I know nothing about it. I need to learn, and I wouldn't attempt to do anything until I learned what the hell it's all about. But yeah, I love it. I'm fascinated.
Listen, fair play. Well, look, next time you're back over, myself and Nicky have a few contacts in Fair City, Glen, so we might be able to sort something out for you. There you go.
Why do they call it Fair City? Why don't they call it Unfair City? You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing fair going on in there. You know what I mean?
Glen, listen, before we let you go, I was reading up, and you had a bad injury, didn't you, a few years ago?
I did, yeah. It would have been many years. Must be 7 years ago now. I was with my dad, and basically I went into the bathroom and slipped, so the floor was wet, and I banged my head on the sink. Now, that wasn't really the part of the injury. What happened was, as I'm looking in the mirror at my head where I banged it, I passed out, and as I fall all the way back down, my head hits the tile floor, and I fractured my skull in 2 places. And they called it an epidural hematoma. It's the same injury that Liam Neeson's wife had, God love her, but she didn't go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And my dad basically was with me and said, no, we need to go to the hospital. We got in the cab and went to the hospital, and they scanned my head and said I had a massive bleed, and that if they didn't operate on me in the next couple of minutes, I was going to have a stroke or a heart attack. So I had to sign a consent form, and they opened me up and removed the bleed and put 30 staples in my head, and it was really, really horrible. It was within the first year or two of the band's life, and we were just starting to take off, and I really thought that was it. I wasn't sure could I play anymore, or I was dizzy when I woke up. I had vertigo. My words were a bit jumbled and stuff. So, yeah, it was a horrible time. But I got out of there in 9 days, and I really believe it's because the second day I said to my mother, I said, go get me my acoustic guitar, bring it in here. And the first 2 days, I was literally, I couldn't move in the bed, I couldn't eat anything, I was really a mess. And the third day, the guy came around with the trolley in the morning with the breakfast, and I was sitting up with the guitar, had all the board singing songs and playing like a sing-along, and he just thought, I always remember your man coming around with the trolley, he's like, my God, I can't believe it, you're like a dead man the other day, look at you, you're unbelievable. But I really believe that's what music did for me, you know. Music is very healing, and I spoke to a brain surgeon about 8 months later, and he was at our show, and he said to me, now I know why you recovered so well. He said, because you're a drummer, because you're dual hemispheric, you use both sides of your brain. So he said, your injury, your brain would have compensated for any deficit you might have had. So that's why you recovered so quick. Yeah, so I was very, 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 but mind you, I was just blessed my dad made me go. If he didn't, I could have went home and I could have had a heart attack or stroke or be paralysed from the neck down. It happened to a friend of his friend's son, Frank Clark, the painter, his son. He had an incident, something happened to him outside a nightclub, and he went home, and basically when he woke up, he was paralysed. So, yeah, because of Frank, and I have to thank him now, thanks for that, Frank. Because of Frank's story, and my dad knew that, my dad made me go to the hospital, and it saved me, basically saved me.
You're fully recovered now, you don't need any migraines anymore, or because I seen that you had to put some frozen foods on your head to calm it all down.
I did have migraines, and they were really bad. And I had them about, when was that? I suppose about 2-3 years later, the migraines kicked in, and I went back to the original surgeon, and he scanned me and all, and he said, no, you're fine. He said, what are you doing differently? And I said, I don't drink anymore. Would you believe he told me it was because I didn't drink anymore? He said to me, your body's gone through a massive change. And he's like, did you drink? Were you a heavy drinker? And I said, well, I'm Irish. What do you think? So, I mean, and also I'm in a band and I'm a musician. But he said, yeah, no, he said the chemical changes that will happen in your brain and your body because you don't drink, he said, are huge. So he said, you're going through a huge change internally. So he put it down to the booze, which I was really shocked at. So for about a year, I had crippling migraines. I was, oh my God. The guys used to come down in the morning, I'd be sitting here, like I said, with frozen food in my head. But they've all gone now completely. They just, one day, they just stopped completely. You know?
Well, you lived to tell the tale. Well done, Glen.
I'm a dead man walking.
Yeah, well, listen, well done. It's great to talk to you as ever. We're looking forward to your gig in Croke Park coming up this summer. And please pass on our regards to the other lads as well in Sweden with you guys on tour today. All right?
Guys, thank you very much for the interview. Thanks for playing the music, and thanks for all your support, and thank you for being so lovely.
Thank you for surviving. Yes.
Go on, Glen.
Glen from the script.
That should be my song. That's my song for my funeral. When they carry me into the church. Yeah, man.
See you later, Glen.
Oh,
See you later.
The man who can't be moved.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, look at
The man
that.
who can't be killed. See you later.
See you, bye-bye.